To all my amazing subscribers, welcome back to the channel. We have been working non-stop around here, trying to get our own race cars all wrapped up and get ready for the 2023 season. We've been working on PSCA rules. We've been working on all kinds of things around here. But I was just informed of some information I wanted to get to you guys and let you guys know what's going on. As you guys know, a few years ago, we got hit by the EPA. We've still been battling it. We still got Big Brother watching us.
We are still working with the EPA and trying to get through our case. Attorney stuff and attorney fees, it definitely was more than the fine was, but if I had signed that piece of paper back a year ago and paid that fine, it literally said I can't do what I do. I can't build race cars or modify anything that really ever had a VIN number.
And it's really affecting our business. It's affecting everything we're doing here. You know, my dream years ago was to start a whole tuners network and be able to provide everybody with a tuner in their area, or help tune online, or do what we could to help everybody get their cars running properly and out of the garage and to the racetrack, and just enjoy your ride, you know, and making them our own. It's a way of expressing ourselves, of having some individuality. Cars, when you're building a car, it teaches you all kinds of things.
One of these young guys may end up inspired and create something that changes the world, and a lot of it can come from race cars. Race cars is the same as rocket science. It all is the same type of thing.
But as you guys know, all of this, everything we're all doing is really under fire. Sometimes I don't recognize even what world we're in anymore.
What you're saying is that you want us to put water on the crops.
Yes.
Water. Like out the toilet?
I've been dealing with it. I've been, like you guys, we're trying to make the best and fight through it. I've tried to reorganize the business here and do what I can to make it keep functioning and going.
You know, business still good? Business good?
Yeah, I mean, you know, we've been concentrating a lot on the YouTube and our own little projects, and then kind of just taking on work that won't kind of rock the boat at the moment.
Just you got to do what you got to do. Be smart.
Yeah, that's it. As you guys know, we really worked hard on racing and YouTube this last year and trying to figure out how to keep growing and inspire you guys and get you out to the track with us. Being able to find a community, be part of that community, grow with that community. And you look at the automotive community in the last few years, and racing has just blossomed. I've had to restructure and figure out what we're doing here. We really have to run through what we're doing and be careful and watch it because of what agenda and what's been going on in this world. And I'm excited about where the tech could go. But we have a major hurdle and a major problem. So I want to bring some things to your guys' attention now and share with you what's going on and where things are at, because I don't feel like it's gotten enough attention. It's been awesome seeing everybody reach out and help Cletus. I would have loved to be able to fly down there and speak in front of the crowd and let them know, you know, houses aren't welcome here. So it's a tough time. It really is a tough time for really a growing racing community. So one of the things I want to share with you is what's the status of the RPM Act, what's going on, and where are we at. So as you guys know, the RPM Act is a piece of legislation that was going to protect us building race cars and turning cars that were once road cars into race cars, not to be driven on the street, but to be driven at racetracks. And it would protect us, it would protect our businesses doing that. And that's, as you guys have seen, you know, with PSCA, I've turned our business into that model and been trying to build off of that. Not an easy feat, let me tell you. Much easier to be able to just make things run every day. And I have a lot of pleasure doing that. But on Instagram, I saw the other day, my PRI show, which is PRI, they came out years ago and interviewed me, if you guys remember that interview. They posted this, and I want to share it with you guys.
SEMA and PRI must share that despite strong congressional backing and extraordinary support from the racing community, the 2021-2022 congressional session is ending without the passage of the RPM Act.
They went on and said,
"We made it this far without the incredible effort by so many of our members," said SEMA President and CEO Mike Spagnola. The RPM Act was one of the most bipartisan bills in the 117th Congress, with over 165 lawmakers co-sponsoring this legislation. CMMPRI will leverage this momentum we built during this congressional session, assess the current challenges the industry faces, and chart a new path forward for the industry's advocacy efforts at both the federal and state levels.
To me, that sounds like it ain't working. To me, that sounds like there ain't enough money in it. Sounds to me like there ain't enough people, not enough support, not enough education. To me, it sounds like we have a major hurdle to overcome.
So we've got Turn 14 with a coalition working on a lawsuit. We've got PRI that has started a membership program that they are trying to get everybody involved in, so they got a voice and they've got a way to raise some money to put into Washington.
I mean, I feel the effects now. It's, you know, obviously, and I do not believe anything that we have been forecasted so far with what they're trying to do with the climate change and climate agendas.
Even if it does, whether that will really be enough, because after all, we are only a small part of the world, to affect the entire temperature of the Earth, it seems quite dubious. Despite the sort of notion that it's a proven fact that man-made factors create global warming, there are literally hundreds of people who spend their lives specializing in the study of climate who say no, that is not the case.
You know, I'm from the school of everything that ever was, is, will be, and so on the heels of all this, got a phone call from a very good friend, and he called me in a panic. The EPA had sent him a letter informing him that they've got their eyes on him, and what the fines will be and could be if they decide to ever come and look his direction. So I'm gonna go ahead and read that to you guys and share with you what's going on, and hopefully it gives you guys some education and lets you know what is going on and what's real in the racing community. All right, here we go.
The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency is responsible for implementing the mobile source provision of the Clean Air Act and its supporting regulations. As part of these duties, EPA receives complaints about sources of pollution, investigates the complaints, gathers more information when needed, and enforces against violators when appropriate. You are receiving this letter because EPA wants to ensure your company is aware of the law. The Clean Air Act prohibits tampering with emission controls as well as manufacturing, selling, or installing aftermarket devices intended to defeat those controls. Defeat devices are aftermarket parts or components that allow for the bypass of defeat or emission controls devices installed on vehicles or engines in direct violation of the Clean Air Act. Common defeat devices include software files known as tunes.
What we're trying to do is get at manufacturers of these devices that they sell and make sure that they sell them only for competitive, dedicated vehicles. Known as tunes or tuners that reprogram the vehicles or engine's original software, calibrations, and electronically disables emission controls or the onboard diagnostic system, the OBD. Other common defeat devices include hardware designed to physically defeat emission controls such as exhaust gas recirculation, EGR block plates, and hollow straight pipes that replace the original exhaust after-treatment systems. EPA has found that illegally modified vehicles and engines contribute substantially excess pollution that harm public health.
And somehow the parking lot outside my house was a favorite spot of drag racing. I heard those noises in my own community night after night after night. And you put the pillow over your head, you close the window, and you just adapt. Or you have leaders like Maureen and our senator who stand up and say, no, no longer.
And impede efforts by EPA, tribes, state, and local agencies to plan for and attain national air quality standards. In recent years, EPA has filed numerous civil and criminal enforcement actions against companies who violated Clean Air Act's prohibitions against tampering and defeat devices. EPA has an ongoing investigation of hundreds of companies of all sizes for selling and installing defeat devices. Penalties associated with these actions can be significant. As a result, compliance with the provisions of the Clean Air Act has increased dramatically.
I'm sure many of you studied back in the day, but there was prohibition against alcohol, and people had speakeasies, illegal club. Prohibitions never work. To me, prohibitions just make the problem worse, make it more expensive, make it more black market.
The illegal production and sale of liquor by organized crime developed rapidly. Bootlegging emerged during the Roaring '20s and saw alcohol smuggled into the United States by criminals.
It's wild to hear and think. You know, I've been working on cars for nearly 30 years, and it's to think that's where we're at. And I think the common sense has left the chat. I'm made of carbon.
Really kind of wondered about too was if the EO number deal is going to be like if it's going to work federally, or if it's just a California deal, or
It is California, and we are minimizing that. That's why we rolled out SEMA certified. But if you know folks, Brent, if you're talking to folks out there, you should tell them that there is now another path. It's not, you don't have to just get an EO. There is another path to legitimate sales. That is the SEMA program, and I'm not saying that to be, self-promotion for SEMA, but it really, that we did it as an industry benefit. This is for our members.
That's what I'm saying. I'm just trying to figure out what it is we can sell, what we can do, where we'll be protected on that end without, having SWAT teams walk through the door. Because that's still always a scary thing, and a lot of guys have dealt with that. So
I know. It's not a hypothetical. It is happening. That is.
Yeah, and
You're absolutely right. And it shouldn't be. It should not be. It's wrong.
And it's just not in the news enough, and not enough people know this stuff's going on. You hear about it after the fact, or you hear about, I want to figure out how I can get people jazzed up, excited, or pissed, and start really making some kind of difference.
You have a love for cars, you have a passion for it, and it needs protected. We need to find a solution.
In the grand scheme of things, this isn't, currently it isn't, a big issue to the elected officials.
Right.
And that's the unfortunate part. So that being the premise, how do we overcome that? What we're talking about doing is doing rally-style events. But you get folks to attend this rally, and then you have those elected officials there, and there's banners and billboards, and everyone's chanting RPM.
Yeah.
And it gives it the attention that it deserves. And at the end of the day, politicians are driven by self-interest.
Yeah.
If they see that many constituents, i.e. voters, saying this matters to me, that will make a difference. And we're trying to roll out events like that for the sole purpose of getting the attention of the politicians too. And again, I'm not saying mean things about them either. They're busy. They got,
absolutely.
There's a war going on that potentially leads to World War III. Okay, I get it.
Yep.
I get it. There
Same.
are things going on that are bigger scale, but we just want to distract them and have their attention for a short period of time to say, this is a way of life in America. People love it, and as long as America's still here standing strong, let's go out. Let's go out and race some cars.
Like Rocky Balboa, I ain't heard no bell, and I'm gonna keep swinging.
As we go away, it affects everything down the line. The little small car lots, the parts stores, the trailer sales, the fuel sales. It becomes a huge deal once you start dropping little shops and people that know what they're doing. As we go away, then the people that do want to do stuff are discouraged because they don't know how to do it or who would do it. And then
I'm in the pursuit of happiness, and this makes me really happy. This is what I love to do.
It becomes like one of those prohibition speakeasy type things, and things get way crazy expensive and way underground and flat out dangerous. We're losing tracks like nonstop. You know, how does that all get saved and changed? And we got rumors of tracks disappearing, and you know, it's just it's an entire deal as a whole.
Let me ask you, package your story. We've already got all the video footage and the interview and the story. I mean, there's going to be a part B that it's only getting worse.
Yeah. Something we all need to understand is this world has always been and always will be. It will continually evolve as it has for millions of years. It's going to happen. That's just how it goes. Energy never dies. It's just transformed, and that's just what it is. Just like car energy, just like our energy, just like it all. It'll be transformed time and time again. Nothing stays the same. Nothing's constant. It's always going. It's the world. It's what we live in. We got to enjoy it, accept it, and make the best of it. And of course, keep it clean for the next generation. But beating up the race cars isn't the fight, that's for sure. So make a difference in your community today. Support someone, love someone, help someone out, and you all know you are super important. We all have our piece of this puzzle, and every one of us is important for one another. So be a part of your community today, support your local race car shop, make some new friends, and just all stay ripping. All right, guys.
So you're asking for forgiveness, not permission, basically?
I'm not even asking for forgiveness, right? I'm just not, like, there's no permission to be asked. It's your car. I don't need permission to, you know, to use my things that I buy however I want, right?
Yeah.
So maybe I think a lot of people should get out of this mindset of thinking, right? And I've always said this with, like, the jailbreaks and stuff. Get out of the idea that, like, you know, you're buying the PlayStation 3 and it's a closed box and actually Sony owns it and you don't. No. Stop thinking like that, right?